Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Here we are, back again. APB Podcast, episode 65, here on Sunday, September 9th, as we're taping this now. It's just a little past 6 o'clock here at night. It's a beautiful day. Hope you got out and enjoyed it. I know it was the first week of sports ball, and I'm sure everyone was very psyched to have their favorite and controversial problem-causing sports game back on TV again. Maybe we'll get a little bit more into that later. We're not going to do that right off the bat. I can't say I really watched anything, really, today. I caught a little bit of the Seahawks game. Not too much. Football's really been, as a person who grew up in Boston as a lifelong Patriots fan. Sorry, all my Seattle friends that are listening to this. As a lifetime Patriots fan, football has kind of gone the way of the NBA, where it's like, yeah, it's like a couple teams got a shot. Two or three, maybe, right? That's pretty much it. Like half the league has no shot at all. You can immediately eliminate half of the teams in the league and it wouldn't change a goddamn thing. It wouldn't matter at all. It's so definitely in the NBA. The NBA is, and in hindsight now, looking back on the NBA, even when I was a kid in the 80s, growing up watching Bird and Magic in the 80s, a little bit of Dr. J in the early 80s when I was kind of young. Could still remember a little bit of Dr. J. I started watching basketball at the very tail end of Dr. J's wonderful career. But even then, it was like 3 teams, 4. You know, you had the Sixers and the Celtics and the Lakers and a little bit of the Houston Rockets. And no one else had a shot in hell. No one else was even close. No one. Not even close. No one. It was, and at the time, it didn't matter because, you know, I was watching Larry Bird every night. It's fucking awesome. The guy's amazing. It's so much fun. And then Michael Jordan came along and he was way better. And the guys I liked were getting older and they weren't replaced, or the guys the Celtics tried to replace them with died. And so my hometown team became bad. And then I was like, oh, well, this is boring. Like, my team doesn't have a shot in hell at being even competitive, never mind the championship. I'm like, oh, I guess just gotta hope for a good draft pick. Thank you very much, San Antonio, for stealing Tim Duncan from the Celtics with the massive unlucky ping pong ball bounce. The worst day of Rick Pitino's life, I think we can all safely say. Oh, right up until he's been kicked out of college basketball finally, I believe. Yeah, he's had a hard life. He's only probably like a gajillionaire from lying, cheating, stealing, and taking bribes and doing whatever it is he's done to get to. I allegedly, supposedly, I'm not going to Google search Rick Pitino to find out what he was guilty of now. But hey, everybody, how about we got a little red wine going on tonight? Just a little bit of that for this evening. I got a little Voodoo Ranger over here too in the backup because this thing is almost empty. So hope everyone had a great summer. It's almost over, everybody. Enjoy it while it's here for us in the Northwest before the rain returns. Enjoy the last few days of sunshine while you got 'em. When it's getting nice, it's nice in that 70s area. It's the nice sun. We had some really brutal sun this summer. So salute everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for any new listeners out there. Raise a drink if you're listening to this on your morning commute. Raise your coffee if you're stuck in traffic, and have a drink with us as we kick off episode 65. Not bad. Not bad at all. Well, yeah, with basketball, when your team isn't competitive, when you know they don't really have a shot because it's going to be Jordan, at least at that time in the 90s. It's like it's going to be Jordan from the Eastern Conference. You're not going to beat them. You're not going to get past them, especially if your team's just kind of meh. If you have a meh team, and there's a Jordan or a Bird or a LeBron or a Magic or an Isaiah, if you have a meh team, yeah, you ain't got a shot in hell. You ain't got a shot. Sorry, not happening. Football's kind of gone down that road. At least, I feel bad. I feel bad for like other people. I feel bad for everybody else because the team I've rooted for since I was a child and watched them get kicked around and almost moved and go 1-15 and be terrible have just been on the most dominating run in sports history, I would say. For 18 years they've been, except for the first couple, they weren't really the favorites, but then the Patriots slowly became the favorites. Were an insane helmet catch away from a 19-0 season. They've been to what? 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls at the end of, I would assume, the end of their coach quarterback relationship career. I mean, it's been 18 years and somehow they've gone to, right? Is it 4? 3? 3 or 4 of the last, 5 or 6, whatever it is. It's fucking ridiculous, really, is what it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, like, I feel bad for other teams, especially teams in the AFC East. Teams in the AFC East are just either are petrified and panicked and make dumb moves, or they are just spinning their wheels, praying for the day Brady and Belichick retire, and then maybe they can put together a team. It's like Ryan Tannehill's not a bad. He's not bad. He's not a bad. He can do some things. We Miami Dolphins. We got some pieces. Yeah, you got some pieces. You ain't get by Brady. Sorry, ain't happening. It's not happening. Good effort, boys. Good effort. I'm proud of you. You guys go get some orange slices. You guys did a good job today. Your mom's gonna be proud. Sorry. It's just the unfortunate reality of the game right now. And it does make it unfun. That was one of the fun things about when I did move out here to Seattle was seeing, now you get more of the Seahawks radio stuff, TV stuff, you see more of them, and you saw them transition, you saw them make some moves, you saw them build a system, bring in some guys, get some underrated guys, get some overlooked guys, get a quarterback who's too short, build up this whole thing, pull in a couple of good free agents here and there, make a couple of trades, bring in a Marshawn Lynch. Like, oh, wow, hey, look, you're putting together a team. This is awesome. So I will be one of the first ones on board, without a doubt, of watching that team get built and put together. To me, was very exciting and super impressive. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. I thought it was awesome. But like what most teams, you know, lifespan should be, you know, they did that. You know, that's a good average, you know. They went to won one, went to another one, won a Super Bowl, went to another Super Bowl, and they've been competitive, just kind of slipping a little bit. Now you got to kind of cut some other guys out, try and bring in some fresh new legs and kind of rebuild it a little bit. And so today the Seahawks lost, and in the most shocking news of the day, the Patriots won again. So I mean, it's if nothing else, like I know a lot of people dislike the Patriots, and I I'll always give the nod to my good friend Rob Chella, who says to everyone who says I don't like the Patriots, he's like, of course you shouldn't. Of course. It's like if I didn't grow up watching them, I'd hate them too. It's totally unfair that they do what they do and just keep rebuilding their team and keep pulling guys off of the dead wood pile and putting them out there, run them around for a couple of years, and then cut them early and bring in new guys who are way better to replace them that they get in like the 25th round. It's like, what? Wow. Whoa. How'd that happen? How'd you get rid of that guy? That guy's really good. Yeah, we got this other guy who's actually even better and listens to what we want him to do. I know. It's amazing. And we got him in the 7th round. So we're just going to cut this 3rd round guy who's now been here for a couple of years and now wants a bigger contract. And we're like, well, no. We got this guy from the 7th round who's actually twice as good as you. So bye. We're going to keep this guy for a good 2, 3, maybe 4 years. Maybe he'll stay here for a long time. 4 years. And all the while in the background, like, hey, guy, just so you know, we're going to pay you while you're here. But there's going to come a time that we're going to have to let you go. And there's going to be someone to replace you. Sorry. If you want to go now, that's fine. That's totally fine. No problem with that. You want to win a championship? You want to go to the top of the mountain? You can hitch your wagon here and go for a ride. We'll definitely get you closer than the Bengals or the, I don't know, Chargers or whoever. The Bills. Oh, Buffalo. Oh, Buffalo. Do we need to talk about Buffalo this morning? Oh, Buffalo got taken behind the woodshed this morning. I didn't even see any of the highlights. I just saw the score. It was like, what, 40-something to 3. It was like Baltimore, right? It was Baltimore. Like, just beat Buffalo's like, look, man, look. We've tried drafting some guys. We've tried making some moves. We're just going to bide our time. Hopefully, if it pays off, we can just totally nosedive this season. And at the end, Brady and Belichick will retire together, and we'll get a 1st-round draft pick, and then we can rebuild the rest of our organization. we're counting on this year. This is the year they retire. This is the year we can start rebuilding after we nosedive this thing. The Buffalo just tanks it. Oh, Buffalo. Sorry. So sorry. It's a rough one. But it does get, that's the one reason I do still enjoy and can watch most any team of hockey. I'm a big fan of the game of hockey and the game of baseball. The baseball to a little, probably a lot lesser extent of the 4 major sports that I enjoy. It's definitely hockey. It's probably hockey and then baseball and then football and soccer and then basketball. Football, soccer, curling, and then football, soccer, curling, and billiards, and then basketball. Comedy comes in threes, folks. But the one reason I really love hockey is that you can have a scrappy team. You can have a team that doesn't have all the superstars, that puts together a team that gets into the playoffs and has a hot goalie. And you can ride a hot goalie for a couple of good rounds. You can ride a hot goalie to the fucking Stanley Cup. There are teams that have ridden a hot goalie and won the Stanley Cup who were like the 8th seed. It's never going to happen in basketball. It's not going to be, I think an 8th seed has only won a first round series in the NBA twice. I think it's only happened twice. Definitely the Denver Nuggets beating the Seattle Sonics in like 90 something when Dikembe Mutombo was on the Nuggets. And that was in that 5-game series. Is that classic video clip of Dikembe Mutombo like laying down in the lane because he's like overjoyed and he's like has the basketball above him and he's got his eyes closed and he's squeezing the basketball and just screaming his head off. And I think it happened kind of recently that there's a bee in the shed bar. Get out of here, bee. Go away. I don't want any of what it is you are selling. Please go away. Okay, I think he's gone. Jeez, bees. How rude, interrupting my podcast. But yeah, I think it's only happened like twice in the NBA that like a low round team has jumped up to beat a high ranked team and then immediately get their shit kicked in the next round. In hockey, you can go win the Stanley Cup as a low ranked team. You know, you don't have to have a plethora of superstars. It's not a requirement. So the underdog story is a lot stronger in the NHL, which I enjoy. And it's all open. Just get to the dance. Get in there. You got a shot. Absolutely got a shot. 4 7-round series. You can play a physical game. You can take out some of the finesse guys physically. Just eliminate them. Physically, not hurt them. I mean, not, beat the shit out of them and break their legs or shit. Which I guess you could do. But I mean, you can do some hard checking, maneuver around some of the finesse guys, have a hot goalie, get some good bounces, and you can totally win a round. And you can ride that momentum. It totally happens. It's backed up. It's happened. The Nashville Predators were the 8th seed a few years ago and were within a couple of good bounces of winning the Stanley Cup against the Penguins. The Las Vegas Golden Knights last year, expansion team, first year in the league, went to the Stanley Cup. They didn't win, but they were there. That's fucking awesome. They didn't have superstars. They had probably their biggest superstar that's on the team, who was a superstar before he got on the team, was goalie Marc-Andre Fleury, who was hurt for most of the first month or two of the season. And somehow they rode that out, which, I mean, hats off to figuring out a way to ride that out when you lose your number one goalie. That's not easy. But that was probably their number one guy. That and James Neal, yeah. But I mean, most of the rest of the guys were, some solid. It's not like they were like stacked. That wasn't a stacked roster of guys. You got Marc-Andre Fleury, James Neal, and a bunch of guys. And they found a way to put it together, man. And that's the type of storyline I enjoy. That's the thing that gets me rolling, man. That's the type of stuff I want to see. And that's the type of stuff you don't see in basketball or football really that much anymore. There's not a lot of good underdog stories. Is there a lot of air on this podcast? Seems like there's a lot of air. Let me turn this down a little bit. Seems kind of airy. But I think that's better. I cut a lot of that air. Jeez, couldn't even turn it down there. I think that sounds a little bit better. I hope that sounds good to you. Let me know if if right around here on the 20-minute mark. Sorry, I got some phlegm or something going on here in my throat. Excuse me. Oh my God. I could probably turn this down. That sounded very airy. I'm definitely coming around to headphones. I think this sounds better. I got the doors and the window open in the shed bar tonight. The clouds have overtaken the skies, but it's still a nice night out. But yeah, I'm a fan of hockey, not just for the physical play of the game and the style and the complexities of the stuff that goes on, fast action, up and down, the physical, violent ballet on ice that is hockey. But I like that you can get a great storyline with a bunch of guys you just throw together. You can get on a streak. You can be a number 8 seed and run to the cup. And you can't really get that in a couple other sports. And to me, it's not interesting. It's definitely not interesting in with like, it's like, all right, whatever team LeBron's on and Golden State, because they're really good now, so they got Curry and like Klay Thompson and a couple other guys. So you got LeBron and Steph Curry and the other like 28 teams that 75% of them are just playing out 82 games. That's pretty much all they're doing. They're just playing out some games. Doesn't really matter. The Atlanta Hawks aren't going to shock anyone this year. Let me bet everybody right now that the Orlando Magic, the Atlanta Hawks, the Miami Heat, the New Orleans Pelicans, OKC, Phoenix, the Clippers, the Kings, the Trailblazers, the Timberwolves, the Bucks, the Cavaliers, the Knicks, the Nets, the Wizards, the Bobcats. None of them are winning the championship this year. I can guarantee you. Can I make a bet in Vegas that all those teams I just mentioned don't even sniff the championship this year? Not even close. Not even close. What odds would you give me if I said I want to make $1,000 bet that all those teams I just mentioned don't even get fucking close to the NBA championship? You would say, I can't give you odds on that because, yeah, they're not. They're not going to. Okay. So what's the fucking point of those teams playing 82 games between October and April or May or whatever? What's the fucking point? They have zero chance of winning. They'll win 30, 40 games or something. It's nice. People will take their families out to see the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. Oh, I forgot to mention those two piece of shit teams that ain't going anywhere and haven't been for decades. Except for the one shot. The one shot Utah had was Stockton and Malone. When was the last time the Denver Nuggets were good? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? What the fuck? I don't get it. I don't get it. If my team ain't got a shot in hell, I don't care. Definitely not giving you money. Anyways, that's nothing at all what I want to talk about tonight. I did not mean. I don't think we've gone to some sports games on the podcast. Hashtag T-Birds. Here we go. WHL. Have to do a few more from there this year. But we don't really talk sports too much on the podcast, here and there. So I guess it's just because it's the first week of football. But yeah, it's not at all what I wanted to talk about tonight. Tonight, what I really wanted to talk about was a fantastic movie I saw last night, Operation Finale, starring Sir Ben Kingsley and Oscar Isaacs. And let me tell you, this movie is it's a tricky one. It's obviously it's really good. It is really good. You know, don't let my hesitation on how to describe it pull you away from me letting you know that it is a good, great, fantastic movie. Story is amazing. It's an amazing plot based on the true story of the Israelis trying to capture Adolf Eichmann, who had fled to Argentina and was living in hiding, and bring him to justice for his war crimes, for his crimes against humanity in World War II. So interesting. I think that siren's on my side. If you're listening to this on your commute, you are not under arrest. That siren's coming from my side. But man, it was I think the only part of the movie the only thing that suffered in the movie a little bit was it was not your typical type of movie. When you're writing a fictional movie like that's like a roller coaster, like an Oscar level style roller coaster movie, which this is definitely an Oscar level movie. I don't think there's a doubt about that, with the performances, the direction, the use of the camera, which I think we'll get into a little bit later on. But there's a lot of great shots and moments and parts of this movie that are great. It's different when you're writing a piece of fiction like Three Billboards, or like Arrival or something, where you can make a roller coaster happen because you're writing a piece of fiction. So it's a little bit easier to take your audience on a ride when you're writing fiction, because you can just maneuver the characters any way you want in the storyline to, you know, have something dramatic happen and then bring it down and have some character development and then ramp it back up again, because you're writing a piece of fiction. So you know the arcs, the story circle, the hero's journey, you know, whichever arc you're on to follow within the story, you know where to take these characters. When they were making this movie, I think they were kind of constrained to the real life happenings. I think they wanted to keep it as close to realistic as they could. And so I guess that kind of restrained them a little bit, because sometimes real life is not as dramatic as the movies make it out to be. It's not to say it was boring, because it was definitely not boring or slow, but it wasn't that type of roller coaster that really pulls at your heartstrings. And I guess we sacrificed the roller coaster for the pure disturbance of, this is what actually happened. So we had to sacrifice some of the dramatic roller coaster for dealing with the reality of this was happening in our world in 60, 61, 62. This shit happened. And this is as close to a recollection of it that we can pull right now with the resources that were available. I'm sure their research is very thorough. I don't think this was something that was done haphazardly. I have not done full research on whether or not it was done haphazardly. I'm going to assume that an Oscar level type movie like this, based on a true story, was done with a full crack research team to put this thing together and make sure it was as close to reality as they could make it. I gotta say that Ben Kingsley and Oscar Isaac. Ben Kingsley kind of steals it from Oscar Isaac. I was kind of hoping this was going to be Oscar Isaac's, Oscar award winning or nominated. He'll probably get nominated, right? Maybe we'll get more of a supporter than a lead. They kind of split the screens. I don't know. It's hard to know which one was the lead and which one was the supporter. Really, neither one of them really took the reins or really commanded the screen that much. I guess that's what else made the movie a little bit different to watch, that there wasn't a lead guy. There was kind of two that you were equally focused on and equally interested in and equally curious about. How the fuck are these guys going to figure this shit out? How is this all going to happen? How is this story going to play out? Like, oh, obviously we kind of know how it plays out. But it was just watching the journey of those two go along, speaking their points of view, their experiences. And actually the first thing I wanted to do when I got home after the movie was YouTube or Google search Adolf Eichmann's testimony in Israel. Like, all right, well, this guy's like, no, you don't understand. You weren't there. We were doing what we were told. You don't know. You won't understand. You won't understand. You weren't there. You wouldn't understand what we were doing. I saved people. I got a lot of Jews out of there. I put a lot of Jews on trucks, and I got them out. I'm like, what? Well, maybe that's true. At the same time, you also put a lot of them on trains and sent them into ovens. So there's that. But there was some very well done, heavy dramatic moments. I was very anxious to go and see it. And I'm really glad I did. I think it was really well done. I think there was great use of the camera as a mirror in a way. There's a lot of great shots of a character. It starts off with a character just staring straight into the screen. So the film begins with this character looking right out at the audience. And to me, that was, like, let's look in the mirror and see who we are really see who we are and really see what we're doing and really see the consequences of our actions. So I think it was very fitting for our current climate of things where we have the idea of the words you say don't mean the things you say. The things you do don't mean the things that you do. To me, the look in the mirror part of it, the take a hard look, that's how I interpreted it. That was my interpretation of it. I don't know what else would be where the character is just staring at directly into the camera, especially in such a movie about such a movie about humans losing their humanity and not seeing people as people anymore. There's even a part where Adolf Eichmann says we're all animals on the Serengeti, just trying to bare our teeth and get for scraps of food. It's like, no, we're not. We're not animals. We're not. We can't be. We're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be jumping forward than that, right? We're supposed to be evolving. I mean, shit. Name another animal that's been to the moon. All right? Ain't no tigers going to the moon. Okay? So although we do have animalistic qualities, and we did evolve from animals, yes. Sorry, don't want to make anyone cry. We evolved from animals. Evolution, it's a real thing. It's okay. We have that in us, but it's not who we have to be. We can choose. I guess that's what we have. We have the freedom of choice. We have the freedom of decision to understand who we are and what we can do and our potential, our real potential of moving into a bright, brilliant, peaceful, amazing future. We just got to understand how we get there. We got to work towards it. And it's not easy. It's going to take good, long, hard look in the mirror. And I think we need, I hope that's one thing that we do with the podcast. It's definitely one thing I've been thinking about for a long time. I know Noelle asked me once. It's like, what do you want your podcast to be? Like, what's the main reason for doing your podcast? And obviously, at first, it was like, this is fun. Gonna hang out with my friends, and we're gonna just have some. We were having the whole point of this thing, spurned from, first from me listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, without a doubt. Sorry, I'm sure every podcaster says that. I listened to Joe Rogan and then I started a podcast. It's like the cheesiest thing you probably say, right? Like, it's like, I saw a Steven Spielberg movie and then I started making movies. I saw Jimi Hendrix play guitar, so I started playing guitar. I mean, it's like cheesiest of cheeseball things. Whatever, man. Whatever. I listened to Joe Rogan. Now I'd be hanging out with my friends, Aaron and Preet, which is what this podcast is named after, the APB. It was Aaron, Preet, and Bill. That's the name of the podcast. I've had those wonderful friends on once. They've been able to make it down once. But hopefully I'll get those guys back out here again at some point. Jeez. But we would sit down at our local watering hole, and we would have wonderful, deep, crazy, interesting conversations. And I was like, that's what I want my podcast. It was the original idea for the podcast. It was like, we have some interesting, thoughtful, deep, fun, funny conversations. And I think if we record them and put them out there, people will like them. I think it's entertaining. I think it's thoughtful. I think it's interesting. I think we got something fun to say. So by the time I got everything up and going, life has kind of shifted, and things just kind of move on. And the idea of the podcast kind of shifted where, I still have some great friends in here, new friends, met new friends, bring everyone else on board. I never wanted it to be just the three of us. I wanted to expand, bring new voices in, bring more people in, let's get different ideas. Let's throw out as much stuff as we can. Why not? Jeez. Why not get as many aspects and points of view in here so we all have a well-rounded, thoughtful understanding about a lot of different ideas about what's going on, or how people are, attacking life or going through stuff. You find something that's relatable and understanding, and you feel a little less like you don't like, oh, it's just me going through this. No, we all are, man. So you hear stories from different people, and then it really moves you and it touches you, and that's why I wanted it to be, at the beginning, good moving stories from the journey of life. That was the idea. But Noel asked me recently, like, what do you want your podcast to be now? Like, I think I want it to be more of a return and to go along with the conversations, more of a return to reason, reasonable conversations, reasonable thoughts, putting thoughts out there that have a reasonable line of thought behind them that makes some semblance of sense. Or we can sit down and bullshit about movies and laugh as well. I want to sprinkle in some humor here and there. I know it doesn't have to be serious all the time. But there was always something about watching Operation Finale last night that was totally made me think, like, geez, I really hope on the podcast that, if nothing else, I'm being really genuine. I'm being really honest. And I'm not throwing a lot of bullshit out there. I really hope I'm doing the best at. First of all, this thing is like never really like the only parts I edit out are if I burp or if there's some dead air. That's the stuff I edit out. Besides that, this is just me talking. This is like 43 minutes. I think I had to avoid the B, and there's like 30 seconds of dead air. So maybe on your thing it says like 42 minutes or something for the 30 seconds of dead air when I started, and then I had a little cough and avoided a B for a minute. So yours says probably like 42 or 43. This is just me talking. Like, this is just straight. There's no editing. It's not producing. It's me in the shed bar with a microphone, my little recording device. Yeah, that's it. I did the first 10 of them on my phone, So that's one thing I really hope I do accomplish with this podcast, is just being genuine. Hopefully there's some integrity that comes across with this. Hopefully the arguments that we make, or at least the thoughts we put forward, are well hashed out. We might not always succeed, but I think we're pretty good at it. I think we're pretty solid with some of our arguments about stuff. I will definitely say that some of it can be insulting to people. Yes. It doesn't mean to be. We're not trying to be mean. Not trying to be like hurtful people. But at the same time, I think there's a feeling of frustration, like, hey, like, we got to get better. We got to move forward, and we got to get this train rolling forward in a direction. Like, we're we're just kind of spinning our wheels here. We're just kind of dicking the dog. Like, let's go, man. Like, what are we doing? Sitting around waiting for something to happen instead of initiating something to happen. I think we probably each of us see a bunch of that stuff happen in our lives every day, where you get in the habits or the momentum of just doing stuff day in, day out, day in, day out. And it's hard, man. It's totally hard. And I don't mean to, you know, uh, be a bummer on people or anything, man. Because like, if you're working 8-9 hours a day, add in like an hour commute, there's like 10 or so hours out of your day, right? That's almost half of your day. Say it's like 10 hours, right? All right, so throw another 7 on that for sleep. So there's 17. So that gives you 7 other hours. You got to eat. You got to take care of your kids. You got to run your kids to school or to soccer or whatever. You need some time to just chill, relax. I mean, that's you're trying to do everything else that's important in your life. You have 7 hours or so, maybe less, depending on your commute. Traffic's rough, so maybe even less than that. So imagine trying to cram in all the other things, as well as take care of yourself and figure out. It actually takes a long time to figure out what you want to do, or figure out how you feel about things without reacting, to actually sit and think about how you feel about this. I think a lot of the stuff we have right now is we react. We react to stuff. Someone says something and we react. And that's just like a quick off the cuff emotional reaction. And we don't have a conversation about it. Especially like social media conversations. I'm not sure how many of you have tried to have conversations on Facebook replies. It doesn't work very well. A lot of it's very reactionary because it is difficult to have your thought and start typing out, and then the other person's typing out their own thoughts. And then as they are posting their reply to your reply, to your reply, to their reply, to the other reply, all the thoughts end up just trampling each other. And you don't really, it's just reacting. It's just reacting because you're trying to get all your thoughts down and type it all out and so quick that you're not really having enough time to process it, to get it out thoughtfully. And the other person is there and they're waiting for your reply. So you can't say, well, actually, it's going to take me a couple of minutes, because everything is supposed to be like, like this, like, hey, let's bop, 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 bop. And is that because that's what we see on TV when you see like a panel discussion on Fox or CNN or ABC or Meet the Press or any YouTube video clip show where everything's like quick cuts, like all the stuff that my kids watch? Everything's quick cutting. It's all that quick cut stuff just to keep the video interesting for 8 to 10 minutes. And so you have the classic, wah, wah. It's like, oh, that I hear my kids watching that stuff. I'm like, oh God. No, you don't understand. It's really funny. No, you don't understand. I know. I see the pattern. I get it. It's the first loud scream, and then the loud scream replayed again, and then the loud scream replayed but in slow motion. And then they jump right to the next thing. So you you don't really have any time to think or digest anything that's going on. And some of the stuff that my kids watch, like there's nothing of at least like any semblance of substance. Like I know watching cartoons growing up, and I know I sound like the old guy. I know I'm the old guy. Oh my god, I'm the fucking old guy. Jeez, Bill, what brilliant deep shit were you watching as a 8 to 10 year old? Well, it probably wasn't brilliant. You know, I'm sure Bugs Bunny uh, isn't like genius level entertainment. I get that. In Bugs Bunny's defense, in the Looney Tunes defense, they were using like classical music and operatic music. I mean, one of my favorite Bugs Bunny cartoons of all time is The Rabbit of Seville, where he's, you know, squirting the tonic on Elmer Fudd's head and growing flowers, and shaving his beard with a little mini lawnmower, and they're running back and forth. I mean, it's the whole Barber of Seville opera. Well, not the whole opera. Obviously, they squoze it down to, I don't know, probably 5 minutes, maybe? However long it was. But they were using classical music. So at least there's that. Some of these clowns. God, I sound like an old man. Oh, it sounds old. My kids watch this shit on the television, and it's not any good in my opinion. I just wish there was I just think there's not enough effort put in to an unboxing YouTube video. So if any YouTube unboxers are listening, maybe maybe try to incorporate some cool, you know, classical music in the background. And so our kids that love watching you and your hands open a box can at least have some interesting music going on in the background while you open a fucking box. Man, why did I think of that? This is where I think I'm stupid. Look what I'm wasting my time doing. I'm sitting here wasting my time talking about movies and whether or not these different shots are supposed to be like self-examination about human beings in our society, and whether or not we're taking time to think deeply about stuff. Well, man, my kids love watching two hands open a fucking box on YouTube. It's got 8 bajillion views. My YouTube channel has like 3. Motherfucker. All right. Next week on the podcast, episode 66, we open a box. God damn it. Oh, man. Alcohol. The cause of and solution to all of our problems. But anyways, try and wrap this one up a little bit. What did we learn today, folks? Did we learn anything? I hope we did. Hope we learned that Facebook conversations don't quite work. We don't have them figured out. We don't have the technology has progressed faster than we know how to deal with it yet. I've definitely seen some improvement. I've definitely seen some of my friends. I try not to engage in them as much anymore. I get tired arguing about the Confederate flag. That took years off of my life. Like I can't believe I'm having this argument right now. Yeah, no, I'll be like, why are you wasting your time? Like, cause how do people not understand what the Confederate flag is? Like, I don't get it. It's so frustrating. I don't understand. How did you not graduate the fourth grade? No, it's heritage. No, it's not. No, it's not. Sorry. Read a book. Sorry. Read a book. Anyways, I don't want to get on that, but I would waste hours arguing like stupid shit like that. Like, what does the Confederate flag? What does slavery really mean? Is slavery bad? I don't know. Maybe some people enjoy being slaves. Like, really? This is the conversation we're having in the 21st century. Maybe some people like being slaves, Bill. Did you ever think of that? Maybe some people liked just picking cotton on a plantation and living in a barn and having their wife sold to someone else in Arkansas. Maybe that was happy for them. Maybe that's what they liked because their wife was a bitch. And then they had their kids sold to someone else in Virginia. Maybe they hated their kids. Maybe they just didn't want them. You know? Maybe they liked being a slave. These are actual arguments people make. It's fucking mind-boggling shit. Maybe people enjoyed being slaves. Did you ever think about that? No, I never thought about how much fun it would be just to work for someone, to sleep in a barn and get nothing else out of my life. No, I never thought that never sounded like fun at all. What the fucking colossal fuck? But yeah. So what we learned today? We learned today we didn't learn anything, did we? No. We learned that Operation Finale gets an 8 out of 10 in my book. It's a great movie, great performances, very well shot, very well put together, very moving. Like I said, the only thing that would keep it from a 10 is to its detriment. I think it tried to stay really true. So it takes away the roller coaster and gives you more of just the disturbing reality, which is fine. I'm super glad they did it that way, as opposed to like adding explosions and all sorts of extra chase scenes that didn't happen and everything. So maybe it deserves a 10 for purely taking something that would have been a super boring documentary and making it a very interesting movie that's just over 2 hours long. Well worth going to see. Like I said, performances are great. Camera work's great. The way they set up scenes and deliver the story was beautiful. I hope it gets very many Oscars. The next one, hopefully, the next one to go and see will be Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen movie. That from the trailers looks great. I cannot wait to go and see that. And I know we had a Screen Club podcast, which is kind of on hiatus right now. Had high hopes for that one. Didn't quite come together just yet. So until we kind of get a little bit firmer grasp on how to do the Screen Club, which will just be a movie and TV show podcast, until I kind of get a grasp on how to get those ones up and going on their own. Kind of need a formula or like a plan or production plan or something for those ones, because I want them done in a certain way. I think I've mentioned that I got a Fight Club podcast on the back burner. I'm gonna hopefully release on October 15th, which will be the 19th anniversary of the release of the Fight Club movie. That's my plan right now. I want to put some good production into it, kind of give it a thing, kind of make it feel really cool and interesting. So maybe that might be a good launching platform for letting me know how to set things up, make them interesting, put them together in a funny, intriguing way that makes it fun to listen to. So that's always our goal here at the APB. But yeah, if you get a chance before it's out of theaters, I would go and see Operation Finale. Very well done, very enjoyable. Don't get in Facebook arguments if you can avoid them. Don't get in them. If you're going to react purely emotionally, try and check yourself, I guess is the best advice I can give for those types of situations. I would just try and not have a typed out argument. I don't think it works. I don't think it works just yet. I don't think we have it down to a point where we can understand it enough. We give each other enough time to breathe and understand where each other's coming from, or to get our points across in a thoughtful, considerate, interesting way. So yeah, that's what we got going on tonight. But yeah, anybody, I start my new job tomorrow. Congratulations. Hooray. Good job, everybody. So yeah, brand new journey, brand new thing. Trying to totally change my mindset. Trying to look at life totally different than I've ever looked at it before. Things won't change in your life until you change how you look at it, how you see it, how you feel about it. It's the most important thing. Your brain's the most powerful weapon you have. Use it. All right, everybody. Hope everyone's doing great. Hope everyone's going to have a great September. And from all of us here at the APB podcast, this is Bill signing off. Thank you very much. Episode 65. Go see Operation Finale. And we will talk to you again real soon. Oh, yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, we'll see you again real soon, everybody. See you.